Welcome to the show, Outlier Show. Your host Rizwan Rashid is here with another outlier. And this outlier is an amazing because her mantra is really reflecting and kind of really connecting with me. And she held this mantra really high. Dream it, believe it, and achieve it. With that, she hosted hundreds of infomercial, co-hosted ESPN X-Games, 2 talk shows in North America, and also guest hosting the home shopping channel. I'm sure you know QVC and HSN worldwide. And while she was doing that, she was crowned as $2.5 billion TV host for record-breaking sales. She now teaches all her learning into her new program called Pitch Mastery. Please help me welcome the queen of the talk shows, Forbes Riley. Welcome to the show.
Goes wild. Thank you.
Awesome. I know you are really busy, but I'm so glad you took my call and coming on the show because the Outlier Show could not be possible and completed without you.
Well, thank you very much. And that was a lovely introduction. I will actually change something. I don't know if you get crowned the $2.5 billion. I think you work your proverbial butt off and then you just add it up and go, dang, you did good, girl.
I get it.
So now here we are. Now here we are, and we wanted to ask you, how did it started? Where you started as an outlier. How do you describe yourself as an outlier? Give us a little bit starting point.
I guess I get to be queen of the outliers. I started out life as a very ugly, awkward little girl. I had a baseball bat hit my nose when I was a little girl. I was 8 years old. I had a very odd shaped nose. I had braces for 8 years of my life, full railroad, and I had a little tongue structure at some point. I grew up in a time when my parents didn't have a whole lot of money, and I was fast food had just come to town. I was very chunky, as they used to say. I had frizzy, big black hair, and I was anything but who you look at today. In fact, who you look at today is who I dreamed I could be. I dreamed I could live in big houses and own a television studio and that anybody would care to really interview me. I just wanted to be on The Tonight Show way back when with Johnny Carson. And I practiced that a lot. I was very sad when he retired, but I gave a lot of speeches with my hairbrush in the mirror in my bathroom, no joke. And none of that was real. It was all my dream. And you mentioned a mantra that said, dream it, believe it, and achieve it. And so my entire youth was spent dreaming that I could be anybody other than what I was. I was a very smart kid. I graduated school I skipped high school and I graduated college with 2 degrees in 3 years. I was really weirdly smart. I mean, it's not cool to be at college when you're 16 years old. I didn't know what to do. And I had no personal life until well into my 20s. I spent most of my time talking to adults because I couldn't understand kids. And so for anybody who's ever felt like they don't fit in, good for you. If you peaked in high school, you peaked too soon. And I'm not joking about that. I know it's where 15, 16, that's all we want to be, but that wasn't my road. And I look at my life now and I'm so grateful for all the obstacles that I bumped my head against. In fact, one of my favorite mantras truly is that you are the sum of the obstacles you overcome. And so if you're sitting there right now and you're feeling, wow, she's lucky, or how did she do it? No, none of this had to do with luck. This had to do with things that you can do too. I set my vision on things that I wanted, and I wanted them so clearly because I was used to dreaming. When I wanted to go to Europe, I bought Europe on $20 a day. I was 19 years old and I said to my mom, here's my map. I want to start in England, go down France, go down the south of France, over to Italy and up. And I laid it all out. And then 6 months later, I lived that trip. Well, it's how you get anything in life. You decide what you want, and what you want, be very careful what you wish for. You don't want financial freedom. Oh, that's what everybody says. Do you know what financial freedom is, my friend? That's a cardboard box under a bridge. No light bill, no phone bill, that's freedom.
I love it.
When you're a multimillionaire, you don't have freedom. You pay taxes. You have employees. You've got gardeners and this and that. You have and then if people want from you all the time, there's no freedom. That's not what that is. Oh, wait. Oh, you want passive income? Well, if you want that, tell me much. Oh, you want $10,000 a month in passive income. Well, you know how you do that? You find 10,000 people and you ask them for $1. That's $10,000 a month. Oh, wait, well, you don't want to do that either? Then be specific about what you want and watch how the universe conspires to help you get it.
Absolutely. I'm into that because this is where the manifestation that, you use that power of your own brain and then you start seeing the things what you really wanted to become.
But see, everything is created. This is what most people don't realize. The tie that you're wearing, somebody thought about, drew a picture of it, and then found the material and made that. The banner on your show, the show yourself, the computer you're sitting at, these all started as somebody else's dreams. And that's the part that most entrepreneurs forget. And most entrepreneurs don't think to have a plan. Do you know, my thought is that if entrepreneurs were architects, we would all be living in tents. You know why? Because to build that big skyscraper, number one, takes a very solid foundation.
True.
The second thing it takes is somebody has to draw it out. They actually build models of this thing before they actually build it, so they can all see what they're all building. And then the architect gives it to somebody else, a contractor. He doesn't even meet the guy who dreamed about it, but it looks exactly like what he was thinking about. How many entrepreneurs dream that specifically, write it down, know it, set on a path? And I'll tell you what, the few of us who have are the ones that you're interviewing. You ask Oprah, you ask Richard Branson, you ask any Elon Musk. It's not a joke. It's not I think I might want to get to the moon. Let's make a rocket. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I advise you, if you're listening to this and you want to get the things that you think other people have, dream bigger and dream better.
Awesome. And didn't I say that she's actually holding her mantra really high and she's all into it too? Now, Forbes, most of people wanted to be on TV, regardless of success or not, but they wanted to be on TV. Then you are queen of the TV show. Tell us about your first opportunity that led to that TV shows.
Okay, well, the first one, I was 16 years old. And you know what I wanted? I wanted to save my family. My dad had suffered a horrible accident. He was in the hospital for 3 years. We had no money for college. And my mom says, look, there's this beauty pageant. I'm like, Mom. She said, well, anyway, my dad's doctor offered to fix my nose at 15. My braces came off. And there were 500 little girls who went to the mall to audition for this Miss Teenage New York to be in the Miss Teenage America pageant. And I remember looking at my dad with his big bandaged hand and said, you know what? I may not be the prettiest. I'm the smartest, but I can win this. And I did, and I figured it, and I won. That's all I can say. I ended up on TV, on national television with Bob Hope in NBC prime time. And ironically, that was also the worst week of my life. You know why? Because I was a little Jewish kid who was a little bit heavier than everyone else from New York. And I was talking like this. And like now we're in like Oklahoma. And they're like, y'all have the funniest accent I ever heard. I'm like, what the F you talking about? I have an accent. And it was so uncomfortable. And it was my first entree into, wow, everything that you want isn't everything that it seems. And then I ended up being in New York. After I graduated college, I had one man believe in me. Not everybody, didn't get the leads in any of the plays I ever auditioned for, hardly ever dated, thought I was completely ugly and awkward and weird. I'm in college, in my senior year of college. I auditioned for the big college play. It was Shakespeare's As You Like It. And I remember going to the call board and trying to find which townsperson I was going to be or which chorus background. And I looked, and I'll tell you what, up at the very top, there was my name. And I looked at it and I went to the professor and I said, I don't understand this. I don't even know what to do with this. Thank you, I guess, but why me? Why now? He sat me down and he said, look, he said, I get a depth in you. I get a pain and a communication skill that I've never seen before. Well, here's the irony about him. He never saw anything. He was 100% legally blind. He couldn't see all the things that everybody else was preoccupied in. And that was the first person who ever saw me, and I knew it. And I called my parents and I said, I love you very much, but I'm not going to be a lawyer. I am going to be an actress. And I'm going to New York City and I'm going to figure it out on my own. And I moved into a 4-story walk-up and I had no money and I had no idea how to do it, but I just did. And I got on Broadway and I got on television. And I fought so hard. And by the way, it's not always what you think. I got to be on soap operas. I was on As the World Turns. And you know what? I'm standing next to Meg Ryan and Julianne Moore, who you both know, right? You know them. They're very famous now.
Yeah.
They were tiny little skinny toothpicks. And I was kind of normal. And people said I was fat and I was overweight and I was bullied. I'm on television and I'm feeling worse than I've ever felt. It's taken a lifetime to put the pieces of who I really am with what I really want together. And I think I finally figured it out because it turns out not to be about me. It turns out that all the things that I wanted and all the things that I achieved, if I can show you the road, I've had an incredible life. I've hosted 189 infomercials. I've been on Broadway. I hung out with movie stars. I have them on my speed dial now, but I created all of it because even though I thought I was less than, something inside of me said, maybe that professor who was blind saw something, and it was enough fuel for me to get out of bed every day and keep moving forward. And I've hit rock bottom so many times. I raised a little boy from South Central, very dark, black, young little boy. I met him when he was 8 years old, and he was, he thought white people had it better, and he thought we were going to buy him stuff. And I'll tell you what, that little boy named Dexter Rideout was my boy for 12 years of my life. I spent every weekend with him. We showed him what was important in life. And while I was showing him, guess what I was learning? Right after I gave birth to my twins, I was 42 years old. Dexter was 19. He was walking from a haircut to church on a Sunday morning right by his home. And a kid who did not have a mentor, a kid who didn't understand how cool life could be, walked up behind him to get into a gang and shot my son and killed him, shot him 10 times in the back and left him for dead on the sidewalk. He died all by himself.
Oh my Lord.
That's a pretty big moment. I'll tell you something. To get over that, to get through that, you have to have a resilience in your life. On October 1st, if you Google my name in the Las Vegas shooting that you all just watched from a distance, I videotaped that on my phone. I watched 55 people die live. I watched the entire thing. I was standing right on top of the shooter, 10 stories above him.
Oh.
I know. These are things that I will never forget. So you talk about lockdown now. Lockdown is being locked in the foundation room where there's a mass murder happening and you're in the middle of it. That's something I've lived through. It's why now when I talk to you, I'm not an entrepreneur who started a couple of businesses. Yay for me. I'm a person who's lived an incredible life up and down and still chooses to get out of bed every day. Some days are harder than others, but there's people who need our help. If you're still here and you know how to find happiness and make money and develop relationships, I've understood what life really is about. And it's nothing more than loving on each other. And that's part of why I agreed to come on the show, so that we can touch a lot of lives. There's a lot of people suffering so much, but it all starts with right here. What's the story you tell yourself every morning? What's the question you wake up with? And then my big question I ask people lately is, what are you pretending not to know? Rashid, what are you pretending not to know? You know?
Wow.
What are you pretending not to know? That's a question for you. What do you think?
I'm pretending that everything is, I don't want to know what this COVID-19 is going to impact, how bad the world is, how the conspiracies are. I do not want to know. I want to know that everything will be better in one way or another.
I have been pretending not to know that one little girl, like a Greta Thunberg in the middle of nowhere, can end up on the cover of Time magazine. I'm pretending not to know that maybe I went through all of these crazy things because maybe my life does matter. And it matters that you hear this message.
Boom.
This is Forbes Riley. You already kind of, I have some goosebump already happening when she's talking about that at 16 years old, she stood up on this contest only because in order to save her family. And then ever since, she is on the power struggle where she saw up and down. So it's not one opportunity or another. She actually chased those opportunities and made sure that she stand up for herself and others, making that happen. This is powerful stuff. I mean, when you are sharing with that little boy and the Las Vegas shooting, when you are there, of course, those are heart-wrenching moments, and you have to have the courage to come out of that. So you're right. It's not entrepreneur building one business. It's the whole life with everything involved in it. Stay tuned, because we're going to take a short break and we'll come back and want to share with you how she can help you, how she can reach out to you, because there's a wealth of information for you to know from Forbes Riley. You are watching Outlier Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Outlier Show, your host Rizwan Rashid, and we have Forbes Riley with us sharing her, heart-wrenching story, but also with a lot of success comes in, and that success comes with lots of ups and downs. And I am really feeling that being on the spotlight with listening to her story. But here's a little bit more, because we're going to ask her, when did she start seeing that success? Because she actually started from this, the TV thing.
Oh, Rashid, let me tell you something about that word.
Yes.
That word is very overused. When did I start seeing success?
Mm-hmm.
Last night.
Last night.
Let me share something about that word successful. That's also not what people think it is. So I was lucky enough. I created a product. I created a little fitness product called SpinGym. And I'm sure that you will get one of these. You need to have one of these, because in every Zoom room and every computer place, you need to be able to work out, get fit, and stay. Like if you want to just punch somebody, I've sold a couple of million of these things. That was a really rocky road, which includes standing at US Customs before they almost threw out all 22,000 of them. It's a rocky road when told it's never going to go anywhere on public television. It's been a lot of ups and downs. But you can't measure success by that. Is success how much money you have? How good looking you are? How many? What is success? So the universe tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Let me show you what success is going to be for you, little girl." I met about 7 or 8 years ago in the park. I was just spin gymming, and I met a little girl in a wheelchair. She has cerebral palsy. Her name is Christine, and she had the biggest, brightest smile of anyone I've ever seen. And I'll tell you what, I'd already made money and I had lots of fun and fame. When I met her, she was really happy. She had no reason to be happy. She lived in a tiny little 2-bedroom apartment. Her dad left when he found out that she was sick. Her mom is beautiful and wonderful, but has to pick her up just to go to the bathroom. She couldn't go to regular school because once a month when she had her period, she'd go to school on her own. These are things that I never even contemplated. Well, I got her to SpinGym, and every time I talked to Christine, she was just smiling and happy. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I'm unhappy all the time. How can you be so happy? And she's like, because. Well, she inspired me to be part of her life. We did a birthday party for me to roll. I love to roller skate. We pushed her around the roller rink. At 19, she graduates valedictorian of her school. And she thought to say, Forbes, I want to thank you for what, I don't know, just for being there. She gave me more than I ever got. At 20, she calls me, and this is on YouTube, and she says, Forbes Riley, I just got crowned Miss Wheelchair 2019. They want me to do interviews everywhere. Thank you. Now, I went to a party when I was in my early 20s. I made a lot of money doing a company. My first company, I made $1 million because I see things that other people don't see. But I also had a lot of self-esteem issues, thinking I was not enough. I was overweight. I was not very pretty. I get to a big Beverly Hills party in my little yellow Toyota stick shift car that I bought and paid cash for. I was pretty proud of that, right? But the little valet in Beverly Hills looks down his nose at me, and I got his energy. You know why? Because he just parked the Maserati and the Rolls and that Bugatti, and I've got a little Toyota Corolla stick shift that I bought with cash. Anyway, I walked into the big party, celebrities everywhere. I knew all of them from movies and TV, and I don't drink. And I'm like, wish I did. But I'm standing there, my mouth is like, every one of them, Rashid, is prettier, thinner, richer, and certainly much more famous than I am. And I'm so introverted, I don't know what to say to anybody. And I stand there and I'm like, I can't stay here. I don't have anything to say to, they don't, and I left. I walked out on what could have been a movie, my husband, a boyfriend, I just walked out. It's where I wanted to be, but I couldn't handle it. And years later, Christine is sitting with me and she says, you know, you're the most successful person I've ever met. And I'm like, oh, is that because I'm starring in TV and movies? And she's like, nope. I said, what do you mean? She says, you can put on a pair of high heels and a tight skirt and walk across the room anytime you want. And I never will. I'm never going to get to walk down the aisle. They'll wheel me down if I'm lucky enough to find somebody who wants somebody like me. And I thought, I am the most successful person in the world. I don't have a breathing tube. I'm not sick. Oh my God, really? That's why I'm so successful? I have 2 beautiful children. I mean, I could layer on my levels of success that I wake up every morning and go, I'm so grateful that you want to talk to me, that you think that I'm important enough to listen to. Every day I wake up so successful that it's because of this little girl who taught me all the lessons of life just with her smile.
Wow, sense of gratification is just, you are so humble, honest, and reflective. It's so powerful, and loving the feeling of it, because you are right. This overrated word being used over and over again, and you are just giving that the real meaning of success is changing somebody's life, and you are helping other people realize that this is powerful stuff.
I teach now. I'm spending a lot of my time, especially since COVID hit and we're much more locked into our homes and this beautiful thing called Zoom or whatever platform you're on.
Yeah.
I used to fly 200 days a year. Do you know how many hours I spent in cars, in airports, in Ubers, eating bad food, changing time zones? I've taken all of those hours and I've invested in anybody who wants to come take class with me. I teach a class on Sundays. It's called Pitch Secret Master Class, and it's $19. And you can come meet
Yes.
me and talk to me and be part of my world. And there's thousands of people who've come through this little $19 training to understand, wow, if I could just articulate what I do better, if I could master this pitch thing, I can get anything I want. I can get the girl I want to marry me. I can get a business deal. I can sell a product. You can go to your favorite restaurant if you know how to pitch better than your partner.
Yeah.
It does get you anything you want. And I love teaching that. I also teach something, Rashid, that I can't explain very well. I teach a program called Breakthrough. It's a 2-day experience with me and 12 people. And what it does is what I needed and what everyone needs. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you made a decision about life, probably based on something that happened to you. Now watch this. Rashid, what's one of your first memories, your first memory in life? Go.
My first memory?
Yes.
Riding my bike with my dad. First
You close with
time.
your dad?
Very close.
What's the decision that you made about life based on that moment?
That I'm going to help and support my dad forever.
So stop. You were how old when you made that decision?
Probably 8.
8. Have you always supported and loved your dad your entire life?
Absolutely,
You
unconditional.
made that decision, my friend, but now imagine that you were a little boy who got hurt, raped, molested, beaten down. Your decision about life might have been, life's not fair. I'm going to show people. You know those people. Or I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. You know those people. And they take that same decision, and that corrupted decision ruins their life because they don't understand that it was not true, because it's only a memory that you just told me, a beautiful, sweet memory, my friend, but it's not even true. It's what you think you remember of a moment 40 years ago. But you run your life that way. Now, what's interesting about you, though, is that's not your first memory. You know that because your first memory doesn't happen at 8. That's your loudest memory. What happened at 4? Where were you?
Yeah, it's just as you asked, that's the first thing comes to my mind.
It's what runs your hard drive. But where were you at 4 years old?
4 years old.
Yes.
The memory of 4 years old.
Where were you living?
I was in Pakistan.
All right. Give me a memory from back then. 1.
Probably I was bullied in my school.
Okay.
By my class fellows.
And what decision did you make about life based on that moment?
I probably break a lot of friendships based on that.
Nope. What decision did you make about life, about being bullied? You made some decision.
Probably that I was never bullying anyone else. That's probably one of the decisions.
No, that's not the decision. That's what you chose to do. But you might have said, I'm going to show them, or you may have taken it internally, but you made some decision that actually affected your entire life. Think about it just for a second, because it might help you. Let me ask you another question. Are you where you want to be in life?
I am always on that trajectory. I'm still working out towards it.
Because something in back of your mind when you were bullied beat you down. There's a little bit of the little boy in you who thinks maybe life has to be a struggle. Maybe you always have to prove yourself. Does that seem true?
Yeah.
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 And what you want to do and why you want to come to Breakthrough is you want to stop that behavior, because you, my friend, don't need to prove it to anybody anymore except yourself. And you're not quite there, because when you are, you will also understand what it's like to be truly successful and live out that dream of being your dad's savior.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow, that definitely is. You know, that's how when you interview a TV host, and that really puts on the spot. I loving it. Actually, I loving it because that really makes sense, and that's so powerful. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening to us right now, just understand. And it was not scripted at all. This was because Forbes do not want any scripted answers or questions, because this was unscripted, and she put me on spot, and I'm really talking about true of my life. And if she can do to me on camera live, she can do a lot more offline, because you will be able to pour your heart out to her. Right, Forbes?
You know what we do? Here's what I do. I go in and I think that the closet of your life is so packed with things that you're hiding and pretending about, and you cover it up. The funny thing is, I have this ability. Remember I told you my superpower? I see the truth behind almost everybody. It's why I actually don't do well at parties, because you don't want to have that conversation at a party. If you could come to grips with that and find that power and release those negative memories of somebody bullying you when you were a little kid, and you make that go away because it's only a memory, my friend, your good as it is will be completely exponentially even better. And that's the business I'm in now, of making people understand their greatness, their amazing power, by cleaning up some of the trauma that's been holding them back, that's not even real. Nobody's bullying you in Pakistan right now, but somewhere there's a little boy that goes, oh, right?
Yeah.
Why you remember it. You can't remember what you had for dinner 4 Thursdays ago, can you?
No.
But you remember being a little boy of 4 being bullied back in Pakistan. That's why you're not where you want to be just yet.
Yeah.
There's hope.
That is powerful. Fantastic. So how do people can reach out to you, Forbes?
All right, so go to Forbes360.com, www. You will find a whole list of all the things that I do. I have a beautiful Facebook group called My Inner Circle. Just type in my name. I'm probably one of the only women who have the first name of Forbes. You can't miss me.
Yes. Forbes Riley, 360.com, and the Forbes Riley kind of Facebook, and she has an inner circle where she'll be able to give you the inside of you that can evolve you.
Let me just share that with you. So what we just did is kind of daring. Not a lot of TV celebrities or anybody would dare put themselves on the spot like I just did. So maybe the reason that I did that is a lot of your audience are people who are entrepreneurs who are just not quite connecting all the dots. So let me offer this to you guys, that if you feel like you're a little stuck, if you feel like you do something and you sabotage it, if you know that you were meant for a little bit more or a whole lot more, it takes 2 days. Complete 100% money back guarantee with what I do. You owe it to yourself to go, wow. And I know I've never heard this before either. There is somebody out there who can actually shift your life and make it better. And the reason I'm doing that, 1 is I have the ability to do it, but 2, this is how I get to make the world a better place, by making you a better person.
Powerful. And powerful claim and powerful person will be able to change their life, because she just opened up my eyes. I will be looking forward to joining in myself. Forbes Riley, a TV host and a powerful person that actually shows her vulnerable side in order to show you the success is not just bed of roses. It comes with a lot of ups and downs, and she has dealt with throughout her life. Forbes Riley, we call you as an outlier. And I really want to thank you for coming up on the show and giving us opportunity, giving us insight, helping us understand, helping me understand and my audience how you capitalize on opportunity and how you walk your path of life with all the determination, with all the powerful. And now what you learn, you're helping others to unveil their true potential, true personalities, and just put away the baggage so they can move forward with full power, full force.
That's the mission. That's my story, as Les Brown says, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is Outlier Show. Your host, Rizwan Rashid, and my guest, Forbes Riley. Ask for your permission. Be yourself. Be true to yourself and find out what is holding you back, because you are here to become an outlier, because this is your destiny. Until next time, have a good night.